Why do we take so incredibly long to wash a car? Why can't you just do the quick wash that everybody else does in 20, 30 minutes? Guess what? They're doing it wrong. We do it the right way every single time. We take the extra step to make sure that we are not going to be damaging a car when we wash it. Today, we're going to show you a little bit on how to wash cars properly. I'm Dylan with Mad Vehicle Protection in Simi Valley, California. This is our shop. We specialize in doing paint correction, ceramic coating, advanced detailing, PPF, and we do things the right way, not the fast way. Before we even touch the car, we need to take a look at a few things. This is not something that I spend a lot of time on, but when I show up to a location or when a car comes into our shop, I'm going to take a look at the car's current condition. This car has obviously not been washed for months. It has been through rain. It has definitely sat under trees. I don't know if you guys can see in this crack, you can see a bunch of leaves and tree debris that falls onto cars when they sit under trees. It's got some bird poop. It's got some sap. It's got a lot of crap in these window seals. So we're gonna have to really focus that pressure washer in these areas. And since it hasn't been washed in so long, I'm gonna use a little bit of a stronger soap to remove a lot more before I go in with the wash mitt on that contact wash. So we're not gonna be scratching this paint job, although it already does have some swirls, which is another thing that I look at before I go in and start working on a car and washing it. So this car already does have swirls in it. I know that it's had improper washes in the past, even though we have done a lot of work to it. It just hasn't been cared for as great as we would care for it. Buckets. How many buckets do we use? We use 3. One is going to be your rinse bucket to rinse out your dirty wash mitts from washing whatever section. Second is going to be your wash bucket. So it's going to have all your wash mitts, your soap, and also grit guard in the bottom of all of these. Last one, wheels. Wheels are gross. You definitely want to separate that from your other wash buckets. This is our rinse bucket. As you can see, it has these grit guards, these weird looking things on the sides. Those are actually going to help even more with making sure that no dirt gets back into these wash mitts when you're rinsing them. As far as our soap choice goes, I really do like Hot Shot by Shine Supply, and I also really do like Carper Reset. This one's going to be for ceramic coated cars. This one's going to be for your average everyday car. You could still use this on a ceramic coated car, completely fine. It's just not like specifically made for ceramic coating, but it's not gonna hurt anything. So for today, we're just gonna be using Hot Shot. There are some parts of this car that have a ceramic coating on it. Other parts, the ceramic coating has kind of died. It's one of my family's cars, and it's kind of like my test car, to be quite honest. Foam cannon, extremely, extremely useful. When I first started detailing, I thought, like, why would you care about using a foam cannon? I already have soap in my bucket. This is so useful for so many reasons. First, you're gonna have a lot more lubrication on the car, so you're gonna have a lot of soap, so you're not gonna have as much risk of, let's say, catching some debris or something in your wash mitt and then rubbing it across the surface. You have a lot of lubrication when using a foam cannon, so less chance of scratching things. Foam cannon is also useful because when working out in direct sunlight like we are today, or at all, to be honest, you're gonna be able to lubricate the whole car so everything stays lubricated and wet, nothing's drying up, and you can foam it multiple times while washing, and everything stays wet and nice before you go in with that final rinse. This is my favorite pre-soak. I highly recommend it. I use pre-soaks when cars are dirty, if they haven't been washed over, let's say, over probably a month and a half, or they went through like a rainstorm or long road trip. I use the same one on ceramic coated cars and non-ceramic coated cars. First thing to start with, wheels. 99% of the time when we're cleaning wheels, we're gonna do a full deep wheel cleaning. The only times that we're really not is if we can get the wheel 100% clean without having to agitate every single bit of it, which is very rare. Typically on like a car, let's say car with carbon ceramic brakes, like a supercar, that is something that doesn't kick up a lot of brake dust. So you can go in and just use something like P&S Brake Buster, spray it over the whole wheel rinse it off, and you could literally take your finger in the inside of the barrel and it's gonna be as clean as possible. And also those cars don't get driven as much. But for most cars, we're gonna start with pressure wash. And then a ton of agitation and using PNS Brake Buster to clean up the tire. This brush is just getting the wheel well, agitating it. Can't really fit any other brush in there. And this one works pretty well. Especially for this wheel well, you can pretty much reach like 98% of it with this brush, which is super nice. So we're on to the last wheel. For efficiency reasons, I typically apply the pre-soak right now before I even do the rinse. I apply it before, and then I let it dwell for the whole time while I'm wheel cleaning, as long as it doesn't dry up, and then I go in and do the rinse. But today is a really hot day, and this is a black car. I'm gonna wait until afternoon with this wheel so that it doesn't dry up on the car, because that can cause some issues. So because we did that initial vehicle assessment, we took a look at all the cracks and they have a lot of gunk in them. So my first focus before I go in with the full rinse is gonna be removing all that stuff from the cracks, because it's gonna shoot all over the car. So we're gonna move that and then we'll go in for the full rinse. Also, if there was a lot of bugs on the front from like a road trip, or if the car drives a lot, then we're gonna focus on those first and then do the full rinse. On a car like this, it has some swirl marks. Hasn't been washed in a few months. The front definitely has some bugs. Not a lot, but enough to where I don't want that in my nice upper section wash mitt. In those upper areas of the car, you're gonna be able to tell, you're gonna be able to see a lot of those swirls and light scratches much more easier than seeing these lower sections of the car. So that's why you keep your mitts separate for separate parts of the car. This is only from behind the tires. On the front of the car, there's not a ton of like heavy dirt. It's mainly like bugs. Like I guarantee you there's bugs that are stuck in between these fibers. This is our upper section wash. This is our upper section wash mitt. This is the one that stays all nice and clean most of the time. And we do everything we can to make sure these are nice and clean. These upper parts of the car, you're gonna be able to see those swirl marks, and whatever the sun connects with in your paint, you're able to see those type of things, because those are the things that are right in front of your face. It's all about the angles, and those are the spots you really wanna make sure they look their best. When using wash mitts, we are not going crazy and scrubbing at the paint. We're not using a swirl motion. We are trying our best to eliminate the possibility of putting in scratches and swirl marks in the paint. So we are going in with extremely light pressure. I'm just gliding the wash mitt along the surface. I'm not putting any pressure, as much as it takes to just keep it on the surface. And also, when washing, you need to realize that pressure washer and that foam that sat on here, that's not gonna clean up that road grime, that ugly grime and debris that's in the paint. This is. So you need to hit every single centimeter or it's not gonna be cleaned. We wash in sections. We don't just wash the whole car with one singular wash mitt. We wash it in sections, manageable sections for how dirty the car is. This car is pretty dirty, so I'm doing smaller sections. Wash mitts can't reach everywhere. So the next step is going to be using a fine detail brush and a soft detail brush to get into those tighter areas. So it's always the last step in the wash process for me, because I don't want, let's say there's all that dirt and grime because we didn't wash it yet, all sitting right here or sitting right here. I don't want this to get all that dirt and grime that the wash mitt didn't pick up. I want to get off as much as possible before I go in with something like this. If it's a car that has never received this before, if it's a first time car that you're seeing, or you haven't done this to your car, getting in here and all the window cracks and corners is going to be very helpful, because the wash mitt still can't get into like the last little, I don't even know what measurement that is, but very, very small amount of that window is not touched by the wash mitt. This car, I've done this so many times with the car. Me sticking that wash mitt in there is 100% getting that. I would also like to mention we are using deionized water. We are not using your typical water from your house. So this water is perfectly safe to just sit on here, and we could let this thing air dry. There would be a very small amount of spots here and there. And they're not those spots that are going to damage your paint like hard water would. These are spots that are easily able to be wiped up. Gas tank areas can be gross. I wouldn't recommend using your paint fine brush, detail brush on these most of the time, but this one's good. After the final rinse, now we are on to the drying portion of this video. So drying, personally, if it's a fully ceramic coated car and I have the option, I'm probably just gonna be blow drying the whole thing. Especially if I'm indoors, it's a great option. Saves time and also has less of a chance of scratching the paint, putting in some light scratches with the towel. For today's example, I'm just gonna be using a drying towel and very light pressure. After this, we move on to the blow drying stage, which is where we're gonna remove all the water from the areas that we cannot reach with the towel. As you can see, the car is pretty much already mostly dry because of it sitting out in the sun. So this is kind of just for video purposes, but this is all you do. Throw the towel on, gently glide it towards yourself. As far as the sides go, just try your best not to put a lot of pressure. Super simple. I would like to mention I'm using a Kirkland towel that has some edges on it. I wouldn't really recommend this towel. I'd recommend using like a paint specific edgeless drying towel, but for this car, since it has a lot of swirls and I know the condition of it, this isn't gonna be doing any damage. But if you have a paint corrected and ceramic coated car, don't be using this. Use something nice. Next steps for the wash process is gonna be applying some tire dressing and cleaning the door jambs. And that is about it for the exterior. That is gonna be just cleaning. That is gonna be just the wash process. Of course, typically we're gonna do something else after that. We could go into decontamination with the clay bar and iron remover. We can go into polishing. We can go into so many other things. But today's just gonna be our standard wash process. And what we do is we always include a tire dressing because tires look great with a tire dressing. And door jambs, no matter what we're doing, if we're doing interior, exterior, we're always gonna do the door jambs because they're kind of like a middle ground. You don't know if they're inside or outside. So we do them. If your door jambs are really dirty, you can absolutely use a pressure washer on them and clean them with all of the tools in your wheel bucket. It scares me using a pressure washer close to the interior. I have had many experiences on interiors where I've used water or a steam cleaner on them and it damages it. And that is how a professionally done car wash is performed. Of course, we could still touch the interior. Of course, we can go on to many other things like deep cleaning the paint with the clay bar and iron remover and so forth. But again, this is just gonna be removing all that road grime, debris, dirt from standard everyday use. With this car specifically, we're gonna have to go in and spend some extra time on it to remove some of that sap, some of the stuff that's in the cracks. Also, a lot of contamination on the car as well. So this one, it's not gonna turn out as quite of a detailed finish as, let's say, a car that just left our shop that just got a correction in ceramic coating. And I hope that helps you find people out there. Mad vehicle protection, precise results driven by the right process. See you in the next one.